Alright, so our first organ system is the digestive system. So food enters your body through the mouth, it passes through the stomach and intestines, and it is broken down along the way into usable and soluble particles that can be used by different cells. So there are two types of digestion. You have your mechanical digestion, which involves the physical breakdown of food into usable pieces, and then chemical digestion, which breaks down it into smaller pieces using enzymes. So digestion begins with the mouth, which is a mechanical breakdown of food. Saliva mixes with the food to make it easier to swallow. So you've got salivary amylase, which is an enzyme, begins the chemical digestion and a process of breaking the large starch molecules into smaller sugar molecules. Then the epiglottis, which is a flap of skin that covers the windpipe so that food does not enter the lungs. So food is then pushed down the esophagus by the contractions of muscle tissue. This is called peristalsis. The stomach then turns the food, mixing it with gastric juices composed of mucus, hydrochloric acid, water, and digestive enzymes. The mucus helps to protect our stomach from digesting itself, where the food that enters then to the small intestine, we have chemical digestion, continues with digestive enzymes added from the pancreas. The inner surface is covered with villi, which increase the surface area of absorption of nutrition for what has been digested. Microvilli further absorb the nutrients in the large intestine. Digestion is complete with those nutrients that have not been absorbed form into feces, which collect in the rectum for release from the body through the anus. Okay, so these are all of the parts that we had talked about previously. These all exist not only in our bodies but also in that snail body that we looked at. Look at the respiratory system. So breathing is a process which moves air in and out of the lungs. The diaphragm muscles cause the air to be pushed out and pulled into the lungs. Diffusion occurs between the alveoli, so tissues for the respiratory system, and the capillaries, tissues of the circulatory system. So the alveoli diffuse or allow the diffusion to occur of oxygen from our respiratory system into our circulatory system. When we look at the circulatory system, it transports food and gases throughout our body. The heart pumps and carries nutrients and wastes. We have our inflatable cuff that is wrapped around our arm. It's a device which is used to measure blood pressure, and the blood flow is slowed and then listened to by a doctor using a stethoscope. Blood pressure indicates volume of blood, heart rate, artery size, and artery elasticity, and blood viscosity. So that's why your blood pressure is pretty important. When you look at blood itself, it is the life fluid of the body. Blood vessels in the circulatory system form a complex network linking the outside environment with the internal environment of the body. The blood supplies all living cells in the body with the nutrients they need to carry out their functions. The circulatory system must work closely with the respiratory system, which supplies its oxygen, and the digestive system, which supplies its nutrients. You guys will not need to know what percent of blood by volume, but you should kind of have an idea what those components of blood, okay? They're not all red blood cells like we like to believe. Okay, and finally here, the blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart to transport to all parts of the body are called arteries, and blood is returned to the heart from all points of the body by the veins. Arteries and veins are connected by capillaries, which allow exchange of nutrients and gases. Capillaries have two adaptations for this, so they are made of a specialized epithelial tissue that is only one layer thick, and they are very narrow, so that blood cells must pass through in single file. Okay, so oxygen goes from the alveoli to the capillaries, and carbon dioxide goes from the capillaries to the alveoli. We'll talk about the nervous system in our next video.